Hey everyone, welcome to my next Kaldheim video, and today we're going over the best uncommons in my eyes, which will hopefully see some play in constructed standard. If you don't know me, my name is Matt from MTG. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. If you haven't seen the other video that I put out yesterday, which was the best commons, I'll put a little link up above and there'll be one in the description as well, so you can go and catch up on that video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new here, really appreciate that, and obviously smashing that bell so you don't ever miss a video. So without further ado, let's get on to the first card that I'm looking at today, and it is Usher of the Fallen. 1 mana, white weenie decks I think are going to love this card. It's already above its state, 2-1 for 1 is going to be absolutely great already. Spirit Warrior, but also represents the new mechanic, which is Boast. So what do you do with Boast? You activate this ability only if you attack with this creature this turn, and you can only do it once each turn, so you can't abuse it that much. But for a turn 1, putting this down, turn 2, potentially if you've got nothing else to play, you can attack with this and then press the Boast. 1 and a white, create a 1/1 human creature token. So you get another one of those little weenie creatures onto the battlefield, which for me is pretty decent. I think white weenie, is always a good deck in standard, and I think this will, represent one of those 1 mana slots. Let me know if you play white weenie and what you think of Usher of the Fallen. So next card we look at, well, we've had Grafdigger's Cage before. Now this is a little bit different. Now this is an uncommon, does cost 1 more, but slightly different. So Weathered Runestone, non-land permanent cards in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield, whereas obviously Grafdiggers was creatures in this part. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or libraries. I think this is a very good card. Whether it, see a lot of play, maybe sideboard play and stuff like that, but the non-land permanent compared to the creature is obviously, quite significant potentially. Weathered Runestone, definitely going to see some play in sideboards in those best of 3 decks. Just thinking about the formats, potentially seeing Commander, obviously. But very, very nice card. And talked about card, a lot of people saying it could shut down Coco decks in other formats, maybe in Historic. But I think Weathered Runestone will see some standard play, particularly maybe in the sideboard. It's still going to be a very, very good card. We now come on to the blue mage in me, and it saw it coming. So you saw it coming, eh? Foretell. Well, perhaps you didn't. During your turn, you may pay 2, exile the card, then cast it for its foretell cost. Now, we don't get that great 2 mana spell. Counter spell was great because it was just counter target spell for 2 blue mana. So we're getting these sort of 2 mana potential spells. Now, this obviously does cost 4 in total, or you can just pay it for its 3 and it just be a normal counter spell, just no other effects, just that. But the ability to put this down turn 2, so maybe it doesn't get agonizing remorse out your hand or taken out by a duress or something like that, or we have to discard it. You can put it to the side. Opponent, won't know what it is. It could be anything. It's face down, but then you've got a counter spell for later on. Next, on another turn for 2 mana. So no doubt this is going to see play because it's just a bit of an upside for that. I think blue decks, control decks are going to be playing this in any, number. I'm not too sure. But people will obviously want to try Foretell as well. So saw it coming. You will see it coming for sure. Next card, love these sagas. I really am a fan of these sagas. Binding the Old Gods. 4 mana. This is black and a green and 2 mana. So the first law counter is destroy target non-land permanent opponent controls, which is great. So 4 mana come down, destroy, planeswalker, creature, whatever you want, just obviously not non-land, enchantment, anything like that. 2, search your life for a forest card, put it in the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Would have been nice if it was untapped, because, you're putting this down potentially, there's ramps, so you might be able to get it down earlier, but turn 4, then, it should be maybe untapped for me. That's the only downside to that. Creatures you can control gain Death Touch on turn is very relevant. You've potentially either got a free attack, or maybe you've got some blocks or anything like that. There is a card, obviously, that has, that you'll see in a minute, that does poison counter. So this could be some kind of deck into it, putting this in there as the 4-drop, destroying something, ramping up a touch, and then just giving you an extra bit of Death Touch and maybe get some damage through. But I think Binding the Old Gods is going to see a little bit of play, and I do generally think the sagas in the whole are going to see some play. The next one we look at is this little 1-drop. It's a 1/2 for 1. I like that you get extra stats for the 1-drops. If snow's going to be a thing, or if if I got that on my brain, if blue aggro is going to be a thing, this could be, snow permanence. Could be very good, this human wizard tribal. For the snow permanent and tap, look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So if you're going to be building some kind of snow tribal deck, which I think, people will be trying, seeing how good it will be in standard, I think this as a 1-drop is very good to look at your top card just by tapping it down. You generally won't be attacking with this 1/2, but to look at your top card of your library, snow card, if you're putting all the snow cards into your deck, this is definitely going to be in there as your 1-drop. Definitely see some play, I think, if people are going to be building those sort of decks. And yeah, I like it. Look, going through your deck is never to be sniffed at, and that is definitely something that could potentially find you something else you need. So Frost Ogre will always have to be dealt with removal by your opponent, because they just won't want you looking at your top card and basically just, putting cards in your hand. I think it's just going to be a really good spell. Now we come to one of my favourite fun cards. Now, it's not Infect, but it is Poison Counter. So slightly different. You can still do damage to opponents. It's a bit different where you can't pump this up and do more damage on top. It's always going to be whenever a creature you control Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. But, I had a little deck, didn't I? Death Touch Tribal. This is going to fit in there perfectly, because if you're attacking with multiple Death Touch and you've only got to do 10 or more poison counters, and the opponent will lose the game. I'm not sure why they brought this into standard, but for me, it's going to be in those tribal decks. I think it may make Death Touch Tribal quite a strong deck now. If it wasn't, it was decent before, but a bit of a brew, a bit janky, not really a constructed tier deck. But I think, with the addition of this, it certainly makes it interesting. Has Death Touch itself as well. Nice stats, 1/3 for 2. Is legendary, so you can have 1 on the field, potentially others in hand, then you can put on there. It will always need to be dealt with, because doing half the life total, so to speak, doing 10 damage instead of 20 is always going to be favourable. So yeah, Finn the Fangbearer, cool fun card. Interesting to see how this fares in standard. So the next card on my list is Blizzard Brawl, 1 mana. I think this card's going to see a hell of a lot of play. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 against its destructible. Then those creatures fight. So you're going to have a fight tactic, whether you've got 3 snow permanents or not. You've got a 1 mana fight, which for me is going to be great for green removal. Those big green creatures all in there, and then Blizzard Brawl could potentially take one away. And if you've got snow permanents, it becomes indestructible, so there's no way of losing it as well, and gives it an extra bit of pump as well. Blizzard Brawl, just 1 mana for the green to do kill it. It's just unbelievable. I think this is one of the best uncommons in the set, and expect to see quite a lot of Blizzard Brawl. Now we go to Maja, Beretta Guard Protector. Like this card, 2/3 stats. We had Trostani before. That was a rare. This is an uncommon, so buffs up all your creatures. Other creatures you control get +1/1. We know you can ramp out in greens quite easily in standard, so this could be down, earlier. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Now mixing this in with cards like Felidar Retreat, making tokens with that, they're all going to be pumped up. They're going to be 3/3s. Putting lands into play will interact with both of them. I think it's going to be a really good Selesnya type of deck. I will definitely be building around Maja, and with Felidar Retreat in there, I think you could build a very good standard ladder deck with this. Just mixture in a few other cards, Conclave maybe and stuff like that. So Selesnya counters for me is getting a nice little buff with this. 5 mana. Maybe if it was 4, but you wouldn't get it as 4. It's 5 mana, like Trostani. But yeah, Maja, very nice card, and for me, he's going to see some play. So we are down now to the final 2 cards. We're looking now at Nafi, Betrayer King, 4/3. Very nice card, this one. Other snow and zombie creatures you control get +1/1. So, you've got 2 different types of tribal decks you could play there, and one of them will get a nice little buff as well. So if I'm right in thinking as well, if it is like a snow zombie, it won't get +2/2. It gets +1/1. I think I'm right there. So it's a 4/3 for 5. Very nice. Legendary snow creature zombie wizard. Ticks all those boxes there. You can pay 3 snow, return nothing from the graveyard to the battlefield tap, so it's recurring as well. Very nice. 4-3 for 5. Nice, you know, very nice stats. I would have potentially liked it as... I mean, 4-5 would have been nice. That would have been, you know, 4-4 would have been nice. But, you know, the 4-3 does make, with the 3 toughness, makes it a little bit easier to kill. Maybe a 3-4 would have been better. But still very nice. I think if you're playing zombie tribal, if you're playing snows and stuff like this is a nice, you know, nice recurring threat as well for any type of, maybe, you know, different type of control deck, because you can always get this back. Snow control, is there going to be a way to do that? But Nafri for me, very nice card, and we'll see some standard play. And that leads on to my last card, another Dimir card, the Trickster God's Heist. Like this, 2 and a blue and a black. One of the sagas, really cool. So the lore counter number 1 is you may exchange control of 2 target creatures. So yeah, let me, you know, put down my 0-4 blocker and just exchange it for something really good, please. That just sounds, you know, I'll take your best creature. Let's just do that. That just sounds amazing. Put this in Esper control. Lore counter 2, you may exchange control of 2 target non-basic, non-creature permanents that share a card type. I think this is just going to be used. It's going to be fun. And the Lore Crown 3, target opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. So, you know, what control decks always want is a little bit of life. So you can, you know, take the best creature potentially, take a really good non-basic, non-creature permanent, swapping it round, and gaining life as well, and draining. So, you know, there's going to be ways that I think this could be used. Maybe Yorion bouncing. How about putting it in Yorion bouncing? That just sounds disgusting, eh? Put this in Esper Yorion seems really fun. Definitely going to see play for me, the Trickster. You're going to see shenanigans with it. You already see like ECD get bounced with Yorion, so why wouldn't you do this and exchange more stuff? I just think it'd be hilarious. Definitely going to see play, and I will, for one, will be building around it as well. And what's great, a lot of these build around cards here are uncommon, which is great for us budget players. We can play these and then just, you know, build decks around and add in, you know, whatever rares we can. But to start off with, we've got some really good uncommon build around cards. So this was my best uncommons. Let me know in the comments any of the deals that you like and what you think of some of these and my ideas around the cards. Tomorrow's video will be the best rare mythics, so make sure you come back to that, and make sure, you know, like I said as well, check out the commons if you haven't seen that already. I appreciate all the interactions, the likes, the comments. Get your algorithm juice. Thank you very much for everyone that does that. You know, people have been commenting for the algorithm juice. It is amazing. I really do appreciate all your support. And a big shout out to all my Patreons as well. Thank you very much for that. You know, you get a shout out every video at certain tiers, and there's early deck lists. There's, you know, lots of different lots of different types of rewards you can get. If you want to support me, just keep making loads of videos. It really does help, and you know, it makes me produce more videos and more streams. So I appreciate you all for just supporting me. We're about to have 10,000 subs this week. Absolutely amazing. We're climbing high. Thanks to all of you. Anyway, you lot take care, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video.